Hi guys, and welcome to the next episode of TinaTyanTalks. Today we're going to be talking about disassociation. Now, have any of you ever felt separated? Like your mind isn't really connected to your body, like you're just floating away? Well, this is a form of disassociation. Now, the actual definition of disassociation is separation of normally related mental processes resulting in one group functioning independently from the rest, leading in extreme cases to disorders such as multiple personalities. Now that sounded like a whole load of mumbo jumbo, but basically it's when your mental processes aren't all linked up, and that's what can result in feeling separated. Like you're in your own world. You're there, but you're not there. Now, there are loads of different forms of disassociation. Some are really bad, like the multiple personalities. They can be really serious, and others can be much less serious. I mean, a lot of people will go into their own world now and again, some more than others. I myself disassociate quite a lot. My disassociations aren't bad, but for me, quite often, I will just find myself almost float away. My body will stay there, but I can feel my mind going into its own world, and whilst I can hear and see and experience all the other stimuli around me, I know they're there, but I'm not taking them in. My brain is elsewhere, focusing on other things, anything, but not what's actually happening right now. Now, sometimes I don't mind this, but other times it can feel like a problem. Like if I'm in a social situation and I just go off, I don't understand what everyone's saying, I'll lose track of the conversation. And particularly in situations like in a customer-facing role at work, if I disassociate, then suddenly I haven't heard what the customer just said, and they think I wasn't listening to them. Well, I was, but I just disassociated. Another form of disassociation that I personally experience is that in continuously going into my own worlds, I have multiple of them, I start to question what's real and what's not. And sometimes I would think what's happening in my brain is real when it's actually not. And then I'd see what's happening to me in real life and think, no, this isn't real, this is one of my other worlds. I'm too focused on my other world, when in actual fact I was so focused on my other worlds that I lost track of the real world and thought that was the fake world. Thank you, and well done if any of you caught up with that. It made me start to question everything, and it's in my natural nature to question everything, but it makes it even more so. It makes me nervous about it. It can make my anxiety worse, which can be quite funny because it can create a vicious circle. Disassociate due to being anxious about something. You disassociate to stop the anxiety. But then in disassociating, you realise you're disassociating and then you get anxious about disassociating. People disassociate for loads of different reasons. Mainly it's to do with your mind's way of shutting down and avoiding mental trauma, or times when emotions are just too overwhelming for you to handle at once. For me, I know I disassociate a lot during bad times when I would otherwise be having panic attacks. Now, I used to have panic attacks so much more than I do now, but at the same time I notice I disassociate a lot more. So I feel for me it's a kind of balance between the two. I'm not having the panic attacks because my brain is shutting myself off from it. I don't panic. So in some ways it's good, it's a natural mechanism to shut yourself off. But if it happens too much, it can be a problem in itself too. Because then you're not connected with the real world, you're not connected with other people. And that in itself creates problems. And I'm aware that this happens to me, and that's why I can get nervous about it. I worry about it. If I'm in a conversation with someone and I can feel myself going away, I think, oh no, what are they gonna think of me? Because I'm not just going to go out and say, disassociating. Even amongst people who know it happens to me, I don't do that. I don't feel comfortable with doing that. because it just didn't feel right. And on top of that, even if it did feel right, when I'm disassociated, I will think things. I will think, okay, I disassociated. Say this, say that. I would think I should say that, but I can't connect my brain with my body, can't connect what's happening in my brain to my mouth to say the words that I'm thinking. And this happens with other things, like one way that I'll describe my disassociations is that I feel like it's not real, but it should be. I know it's real, but it doesn't feel real, so I just want to pinch myself to know if it's real. And I know I should pinch myself to assure myself that it is real. But my brain won't link up to my arm to go and pinch myself, because I'm not coordinated in that way. It's literally gone separated. It literally feels as if my brain is over there, not in my body. I wouldn't call it an out-of-body experience as such. I know some people experience it and they do feel it that way. They can almost see their body from the outside. I don't see that, but I do kind of feel like my mind's gone off. Interesting fact, as I was just talking through all of that, I went very lucky because I am half disassociating right now. I do worry quite a lot about people noticing it, and that's got me nervous. That's made me think maybe I should just avoid people altogether. And sometimes I go into phases where I disassociate a lot and I just want to be there. I want to be able to take part in a conversation and stay focused on it like everyone else and not go into my own world, but I can't stop it. It sometimes gives me an appearance of being very spaced out, which I don't normally mind, but I only really noticed it for the first time when I was once in Camden Market and one of the guys in the stores was asking me a question or something, but I was in my own zone and I knew he asked me something or tried to communicate with me, but I had not a clue what was going on at all. So I just kind of looked at him like, what? And then his immediate response was, drugs have you been taking? And the fact that people think my disassociation is due to some drug-induced, I don't know what. This make me laugh, but at the same time can make me quite nervous. But now, it doesn't bother me anymore, because if people want to think that my disassociation is due to drugs, it's their problem. Having said that, some people do actually disassociate as a result of long-term drug use, but that is in no ways my case or situation, neither is it in most people's. I find my disassociations can cause quite a big problem in day-to-day life. And now, it was only 6 months ago that I actually knew it had a name. I always just felt separated from everything, and I didn't know it had a name. And obviously, having a name doesn't change anything. But in myself, as in quite a lot of people I'm sure, it made me more aware of the situation. It made me feel more at ease with it. Because before I always thought, what is this thing that keeps happening to me? But to have a name to it has helped me understand, okay, this is happening to me again. I can deal with it. I'm aware of it. As far as getting out of it, that's one thing I always struggle with quite a lot. Different people have different methods. Now, mindfulness is one thing that's often recommended. I'm probably going to do another video on mindfulness and mindfulness techniques later on. Breathing techniques is another, and things like yoga and meditation. I've not tried breathing techniques or yoga to deal with it, but I have found concentrating on my breathing can bring me back into my body as such. And meditation I find helpful, not necessarily with disassociation, but just generally with overwhelming emotions. One thing that I've found myself doing lately is when I disassociate, particularly in a social situation, and I'm aware I'm disassociating, I used to just panic and think, oh no, I'm disassociating again, get out of it, get out of it. Now I'll just think, okay, I'm disassociating, I will just ride this, I will let it happen to me and hope for the best. And if I'm stuck in a conversation, I'll just take it easy, take it slowly, and try to focus on what they're saying. I feel sometimes if I really try hard and really try to focus, I mean often when I try to focus when I'm in a dissociative state, I'll just hear the words louder, but I wouldn't understand them. But sometimes if I really do try, I can just about understand it and be able to come out with a response. When I'm alone and disassociating, one thing that helps me is telling myself facts that I know, particularly about my surroundings. Once I disassociated whilst running in the middle of the park. Now, when I was aware that I had disassociated, I just stood on the spot and I told myself, okay, I am standing in the middle of the park. I am this distance from home. I am out on a run. My family is with me. I just tell myself the things that I can try and think of. Facts, pure facts, and be aware. Look around, it is sunny. There are children playing in the playground. They're so basic facts, but I'm telling them to myself to be more aware of my surroundings, to try and ground myself as opposed to going into the land in my brain. So yeah, thank you for listening. If any of you have ever experienced disassociation or think you are experiencing it, please let me know, discuss your experiences, and say if you know any ways to get around it and over it and deal with it in daily life that you've experienced, or if any of mine have helped you. So yes, thank you very much and see you next time. I hate the NHS mental health system. Not all of it is bad.